was reading this review of Eleanor Coppola's memoirs, and this one line that they attribute to the book and what she said reminded me so much of my guest who's sitting here with me right now. The Holy Grail isn't fame or survival. It's noticing the dirt under your nails and still breathing. So my guest today has been an actor, a director, a writer, an activist, a sportsman, and now a sports administrator. A man who has lent himself to more causes than one can count, from climate change to domestic violence, from gender equality to child abuse. So for standing out, standing tall, and standing true, Rahul Bose, it is a joy and a pleasure to welcome you to the Pooja Bhatt Show.
I have never ever heard you so well behaved in my life. In fact, I'm so terrified now. If anything, I'm wary. You sound warm, sophisticated. You sound patient. You sound kind. Yeah, kind you've always been. None of the irascible, mad, those crazy times that we had. But I like this. Please keep this up, because obviously you've been taking some classes in breeding in the last couple of years.
Well, I stopped drinking to begin with and have learned to thrive in my own company.
But the thing about you, Pooja, is that you have the courage of a lion. That's always been there. But when you temper your fierceness and the brilliance of your mind with time, introspection. Just time is not an adequate filter.
That's true.
Introspection, and to say, okay, this is what I regret. This is what I will do better. And this is what I'm very proud of. And then you fix for yourself, for example, say you fix for yourself that I just want to be kinder and more compassionate tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's important to fix what it is that you want to actually leave behind tomorrow. And I know this for sure, we worked on Bombay Begums together and we reconnected there. You are one of the maybe 2 or 3 people in my life who's actually evolved. Most have devolved and some have stayed where they are.
Yeah.
And others pretend that they have evolved when they haven't. But you genuinely have. And someone like you who hides her fire under a bushel, it's even more powerful because it doesn't blind you. Then it sort of refracts to everybody. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know that I'm a lifelong fan. You know that.
I saw you on television the other day. I think you and Anu were going to some event.
It was a opening of a store. Correct.
Right. And there was this red carpet moment happening and you posed with gorgeous Anu. And then, of course, they wanted a solo picture of Sir. Yeah. And they were telling you, sir, left, sir, right. And you said, yeah, like I've never done this before or something of the sort. And I was like, I have to use this opportunity of doing this podcast to sit down with Mr. Rahul Bose again. It's been too bloody long. And
we should have done a podcast 30 years ago.
Yeah, so we're doing it now. Better late than never. But what I saw in you, beyond that humor, of course, was a stillness. So when you see something in me when I'm reading this out or I'm sitting in front of you, maybe we've grown up. Maybe we've, I wouldn't say tempered. I think claimed a different kind of fire.
Yeah.
And it's not a desolate stillness I'm seeing in you.
T.S. Eliot said, at the still point is where the dance is.
Remember how we used to quote Eliot? I grow old, I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Oh God, it's so good to be able to be sitting across somebody who you can just quote Eliot to and hear from. Yeah, so where are you? I just want to know beyond of course, all the wonderful work that you've done and all of your achievements and what you stand up for. Like I said, standing tall and standing true and being somebody who's really stood up for so many people who didn't have a voice. And you've always been like that. All that aside, me and you have met after a long time. We go off course, lie down on the grass, look up at the sky, breathe, and you tell me, where are you right now?
You start off in your life wanting to be a success. Once you're a success, you seek to become a leader in that field. And then what? The third step in the human imagination of achievement is legacy. So success, leadership, and then legacy. And legacy is not decided by how bright you were, but how you served humanity.
How you impacted lives.
Exactly. Whether it's by building the first non-fossil fuel, whether it's the light bulb, whether it is nuclear fission, or whether it is curing malaria or cancer or AIDS. That's one part of it. The second part is spiritually, what have been your appetites? Initially, and I'm speaking for myself, my appetite was for money. All the things that my parents couldn't give me,
Right.
The Nike shoes, or the fancy bag, or the suits that I wanted that they couldn't afford to give me, I bought myself. The next hunger that had to be slaked was for success. Whether it was in advertising, it was in advertising, and that got slaked. The next hunger was fame. I love acting, but hey, I also want to be known. I want to be famous. But that mutated into respect. It's not so important to be famous. For me, it's more important to be respected, and that too by Pooja Bhatt and 4 other people. Literally, Anurag Bose, Pooja Bhatt, and 2-3 other people, the boys I grew up with, Nasir, Vinay, Cyrus. And after that is done, you say, okay, now what is my next appetite? And truthfully, whether it's through my work as the president of Rugby India, whether it's through the 2 foundations that I have founded and opened up, Heal with child sexual abuse, and the foundation which is education of kids from Kashmir, Manipur and the Andamans, all of that is to create something meaningful for people, is to lift a current ecosystem to the next level. And that is where I am. So, not fame, not wealth, not power. The 3 drivers of capitalist ambition: fame, wealth, and power. Forget about that. Not revenge, not anger. These are also drivers. For me, the driver now is just, what can I do to make this better for people? How can I make this even more satisfying for everyone? And I truly do not care if people don't remember the person who was behind it. Like the Rugby Premier League that happened this year was the first franchise-based, like an IPL for rugby in the world.
That's amazing. You introduced me to rugby.
Yeah.
And you took me to the Bombay gym, put me in the gallery, and there was Persis and homie's sister Zia and a whole lot of people. The game was on.
And I scored.
Yes, and then you stood in the center of the field.
Yes.
And you put your arms in the air and beckoned to me. And I was like, oh, my hero. And Persis and gang were like, oh, my God, I can't believe you just did that. Yeah. It was a whole new world, a different Bombay within Bombay.
Absolutely.
The sportsmanship and the game and the adrenaline, and then of course the legendary parties that played out after that. And of course I used the Armenian card when I was supposed to give out the trophies. And then me and you used to go to the Ghetto.
Yeah.
Me, you and the entire Armenian rugby team.
Yeah.
So those were crazy nights. So from that, my exposure to rugby, and to now you having steered rugby in the direction that you have.
Yeah.
Women's rugby as well.
Yes.
That's amazing, Rahul.
Pooja, I'll tell you what it is. It's just a greater, grander, more serious platform. It's a more serious expression of the same love.
Yeah.
The love that I felt when I was 6 years old when I came and played Tom the Piper's son, and the love that I felt when I picked up a rugby ball. I'm the same guy. I have made that my life. I've made both these things my life's calling. I'm so true to that kid who literally never wanted to go home, wanted to keep acting, wanted to keep playing. I'm still that guy. The best way for me to be that person today is to cut away all the other negativity. I don't do anything wrong. If the phone that is lying in this studio as we're talking, if somebody steals it, I have no nervousness.
Right.
Nothing. If somebody cracks into my bank, they can see my entire bank account. You want my IT returns? Please take them. You know what I mean? the ability to live so transparently is a decision I made about 15 years ago.
When you question authority, then you need to lead a life like the way you're describing.
Yeah. Glass houses.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't throw stones at glass houses if you are living in a glass house yourself. So just make sure that morally,
Yeah.
you have an absolute peace of mind.
But going off, do you remember, to your horror and to my joy, there was a commercial film that you did. The film was a huge hit. And we walked into the Bombay gym early one evening, and all the boys there were very excited because they had gone to the theatre and seen that film.
Right.
And I said, Rahul, finally, your bad movies in your head are what you're going to be recognized for.
And you're so right.
Right? You were very
You're
upset
so
with
right.
that whole thing of, should I give in to commercial cinema
Correct.
or, stay on course? Because there was that great divide at that time, which is gone.
Which is gone. Which is gone primarily because the definition of an art house movie is when you don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
Okay? Mr. and Mrs. Iyer is actually a mainstream construct. Two strangers on a bus, they're going to fall in love. Now, whether they stay together or whether they move apart is entirely different. So we cannot confuse a mainstream construct made in an art house way, which is Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, versus an art house movie, which is in its heart, in its bones, you don't know what's going to happen next. So that divide has gone because there are no art house movies. Everything follows a trope. It's either detective or it's a rom-com. It's genre cinema or genre serials.
Yeah, but talking about art house movie, your first film as a director, which I was in, Everybody Says I'm Fine.
And you were fantastic.
But it was a great role. Thank you very much for casting me. And of course, you gave me no choice.
I wrote it for you. I mean, I wrote it with you in mind.
But you gave me no choice. You
Tanya
realized
Ruya.
that. Yeah.
I gave you no choice.
Yeah.
Because I knew that you would be so beautiful in it. The thing about Tanya is that she has courage and fragility. And for you to be fragile would be so exciting, I thought, for the audience. For that kind of human being with so much of charisma and so much of fire, to be vulnerable, not in love vulnerable,
Yeah.
to be bruised, to actually be hurting, to do that with you, it's like asking Jim Carrey to be silent.
Not only was the film thematically way ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing that comes close to that movie in terms of what it was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Anurag Kashyap calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning, many years later. He said, I just saw your film. I said, which one? Everybody Says I'm Fine. I said, now? He said, yeah. He said, I've just seen it twice. He was blown. And I remember one thing he said, which you will resonate with. He said, it's such an authentic film.
It is.
You can smell that world, you can smell that era. Everything about it is authentic to that world. There's nothing that's artificially imposed. They speak in English because they would. Which I
was anxious about.
Correct.
And we were talking to my father, and you'll be talking about the great work of art that you all created together, The Mouthful of Sky. And he spoke about how you were the only one on day one who was actually listening to the brief. But when we decided to do this, Everybody Says I'm Fine, and I said, it's in English, Rahul? He said, yeah. And I'm like, that's interesting. I'd love to finally act in a language I think in. But I don't want to end up sounding like Mouthful of Sky. I said that to you.
And I don't want to mention other movies. There have been other movies in English, a couple of other movies.
Please mention.
And they've been so fake when people are talking as if they are, on stage in some kind of
like that elocution class in school.
God. I am very linguistic in my thoughts. So Purna has 3 languages and you never know it.
Right.
They keep going
seamlessly goes from one
Hindi
to
to Telugu to English, Hindi to Telugu to English. And Everybody Says I'm Fine. There's Hindi, your driver, Yogendra Tikku.
He was, what a great actor, what a wonderful man.
Yeah. Yogi.
But do you remember that scene? And that says so much about human behavior. We were shooting that scene where I am in the Mercedes that I've borrowed from the
Correct. Your in-laws.
Yeah. And they drive up at the side of me, and you were on top of this building on Marine Drive. The shot was that I see them, which you've shot in close.
And you panic.
And then I panic and I asked Tiku to break the signal.
Yes.
And you were on top waiting, and you were like, go, on the walkie-talkie. And the minute we broke the signal, 50 other cars who happened to be on the signal with us just broke the signal with us. And you were like, I can't believe that just happened. It was nuts. That just says so much about the world that we live in.
That was truly an art house movie that... Remember the premiere we had at Regal?
Beautiful.
With all the vintage cars?
Yeah, I remember that was the first time I met Zakir Hussain and spent so much of time with him. And we went in those vintage cars to the premiere. It was beautiful that evening.
Yeah.
Planned meticulously by you, sir.
As usual. I think I should have been... I was an event planner in my last life.
And then we had this huge party at the Taj.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So, it's when Zakir passed away and he had done the music for Every Sun Fine. Then I introduced him to Aparna Sen.
Yeah.
He did the music for Mr. and Mrs. Iyer after that. He's donated to my foundations. He donated the tablas that Ustad Allah Rakha, his father, had taught him on. So Ustad Allah Rakha had played on tablas, which he then taught Zakir on, and then Zakir played on those tablas for 25 years. So there was 50 years of the two of the greatest tabla maestros in the universe. And he gave those tablas for auction for us. And so when he passed away, Pooja, I never dwell on the past. I appreciate the past, I chew on it, and move on.
Right.
But I suddenly thought to myself, Mr. Benegal, Zakir Hussain, there's a whole era of people in 2024, 25 who have passed away.
Yeah.
Charles Correa, I remember a few years ago. These are people who defined a certain India at a certain time. And we're never going to get that back.
That is true.
I was talking to Shabana the other day. Aparna Sen turned 80. We were at a birthday in Calcutta. And Shabana was there. And I call her Empress for reasons that it's easy to understand. So I said, Empress, I don't mean to be maudlin or morbid, but once you guys go, who are the next?
That's an important observation. But everybody who says I'm fine would have had a great OTT release.
Yes, it would have. Imagine a hairdresser who reads people's minds.
Yeah.
And then he helps them with their problems. Because nobody's fine. Everybody has problems.
But isn't that title so relevant to the times that we're living in, where everyone's just covering up and projecting something that they're really not feeling?
I remember the press saying, what's the log line? And I said, everybody says I'm fine, but nobody is.
Yeah.
And the best way you can be fine is to admit you're not. And it still holds true.
Yeah.
We haven't moved 1 inch evolutionary wise.
You should work towards re-releasing it.
I met one of the producers the other day. So Vivek Vaswani was one of the producers.
Yes, of course.
And Manish Nathwani I met. It's possible. There's lots of quality control, QC stuff we have to look at for OTT. But I'm going to have a very close look at this and maybe make this my next project.
How many years has it been?
25 years ago.
2 whole generations after that.
And yet it's ahead of its time. I'm not praising myself.
It will be contemporary in terms of thematically. You see, I think it's far more relevant today.
I agree.
So tell me what is happening in your love life.
In my love life?
Yeah. Because nothing is happening in mine.
No, because let's not ease into it. Let's just go straight into it. What's happening with your love life?
Are you still the eternal bachelor?
I'm the eternal bachelor. I haven't even dated someone since 2015.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not celibate.
Too much information, na, Rahul? I don't want to know about your...
I'm just saying that
I'm saying love.
I've had 5 or 6 very long relationships in my life. Yeah.
That was then. I've been privy to some.
Yes, you have. But the last one ended in Jan 2015.
Okay.
And so after that, it's not that I've been bruised or anything like that. It's just that, Pooja, love comes when it comes.
Yeah.
This is not, a dating app. So it has to come when it will come. Are you open to it? 100%.
Yeah.
My heart's totally open to everything, to the world, to experiences, and to love. Is there any cynicism? On the contrary, I'm even more idealistic and more kind. So the short answer is no, but not because I'm close to it. It just hasn't come.
And you're not actively looking. Like, I'm not actively looking either.
How do you actively look for love?
Oh my God, there are people who have made it their life's work is to wake up every morning and go out there and look for love, stroke, companionship, stroke, a man to marry or a woman to marry. Yeah. Come on, you met enough of those.
I'm not that naive. Of course, I understand that. But that's hardly...
To partner with somebody.
Yeah, that's hardly looking for love.
True that.
That's looking for some kind of life... It's a transaction. Something to do with I have to now, into inverted commas, settle down. So no. What about you?
No, I am just not in a space actually where I want to... be involved with a individual on that level or plane. I mean, I just think that right now I'm in a great phase in my head and heart. But to look at everyone, oh, could this be a romantic interest?
Oh God, that's emasculating. It's too
I'm done with that,
Too
you know.
reductive, yeah.
So like you rightly said, if it has to happen, it'll happen.
Yes.
But I'm fulfilled and I don't feel a vacuum in my heart or my life. And that's a good feeling. It's very, very empowering.
But you're radiating a lot of very positive energy. You really are. It's amazing. You're amazing.
You know, when I'm looking at you right now, so many moments are just flashing in front of my eyes. That's why I'm just smiling.
Yeah. Even when we were working on Bombay Begums.
Coming to Bombay Begum,
Yes.
before you continue, sir. So I have decided, after doing Everybody Says I'm Fine, that part of my life is over. I will now be a filmmaker.
Never act again. This is it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And after 21 years, when I come back, who is my lover? And of course, I must say, it made life much easier.
Yeah, because we didn't have an intimacy coordinator.
Yeah, so have you worked with an intimacy coordinator?
I'm not sure I want to.
But have you?
No.
I don't think anyone even asked us whether we need an intimacy coordinator, right?
Yeah.
The first time we had to kiss was downstairs, in fact, not even an intimate setting.
Yes.
Or there's a party happening.
Yeah.
And we just spoke about how the separation from the kiss needs to happen frequently.
Correct.
Because both of us were looking at it very technically. And then we just kissed.
Yeah.
And the shot was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was very easy, I must say. So I was like, here, life brings me back to Mr. Rahul Bose.
And he's good.
You know, 21
years later, you will kiss Rahul Bose. Finally, I got some action, Pooj.
Oh my God.
Finally.
You were giving a speech somewhere and you read out something that you'd written. And it was about, I have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And you listed various things. Like, every child should go to bed with a full stomach and not hungry. That politicians see beyond their vested interest. May I always look 19, which you pretty much, well, I'm going to say 19, but 21 for sure. My point is, do you remember that list?
Of course I do.
How far do you think we've come from there, or have we regressed?
I think the world is in a more hateful place today
Than it ever was.
than ever, I don't know, because it was in a very hateful place after the First World War.
Yeah.
And a very hateful place just before the Second World War. There was a lot of hate going on in the world. I'm not sure about that, but it's in a pretty hateful place right now. I think social media per se is not to blame.
Right.
As a construct, it's not to blame.
Yeah. It's how it's used.
Yeah. So, if you remember, even before our time, there used to be Rose Day in school.
Yes.
If you fell in love with a girl in your class, you wrote a little note and you hid it between the sheets of the history book and gave it to her. You know what I mean? So, under anonymity, you express love. Today, under anonymity,
You
you're
express
expressing
hate.
hate.
That is true.
That's
that
what's
is true.
happened. That's one. And second, if you are taught from the age, as kids are today, unwittingly taught that from the age of 7 or 8, approval of those around you or disapproval is going to be bombed at you every half an hour. Is it any surprise that an entire generation of children today suffer from anxiety
Yeah.
and social anxiety
Yeah.
and larger anxieties? They're all in counseling. I'm not talking just about the rich kids. The anxiety about body, about shaming,
Yeah.
about trolling, about popularity. And it all used to exist. Children have been as cruel today as they were earlier.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bombarded at you
Yes.
every half an hour
Absolutely.
on social media.
Yeah.
And so, personally, I control my narrative, which means that what I decide to put out or not put out is in my hands.
Yeah.
Rest of the time, my behavior in public is such that I'm social media proof. There's nothing that I'm going to do that's going to come out on social media and be something that I'll be trolled for. Because I'm candid enough to admit that if I was subject to this kind of trolling, I would die.
Really?
I would fold up and die. On a constant basis, Pooja, my heart wouldn't take it. My heart wouldn't take it. I mean, after all, I might be Punjabi and Maharashtrian on one side. On the other side, I'm Bengali. My heart wouldn't take it. I just collapse.
But I mean,
My larger point was this. You
Yeah.
asked me the question from my I have a dream to where we are today.
Yeah.
We're in a more hateful space. And the reason for that is this. If every moment I'm having to look at what can I do to get your approval,
Yeah.
well, how do I live? When will I live? When will I be? When will I authentically be myself? How am I going to experience just, I'm doing something and no one's going to judge me? As a 14-year-old, if that's what I'm being subject to all the time. Fundamentally, social media should be about building community.
Yes.
Not about building self-approval or building approval of yourself.
True that. You choose how much of yourself you want to put out there. Like, I'm a very open person, but there's a huge part of my life that is not available for public consumption.
Absolutely.
And it never has been.
Correct.
Everything need not be photographed. I think there's more power sometimes in not claiming but stepping away from the spotlight.
Oh God, yeah.
To leading that life beyond. And that's what you've always had. Whether you were in an art film, doing a commercial movie, or you're doing theatre. By the way, one of my favorite performances of yours was Seascape with Sharks and Dancers. Yeah. You directed it.
Yeah.
And it was performed so well by you and Anna.
Now, you would have been great in that role.
I remember watching it and weeping, and you had those little seahorses left on every seat. See how I remember that detail?
God, Pooja.
But you were so easy. I remember it opened with you lying in bed and reading, and then she storms into your life. Yeah. So I think Seascape, Shaurya, you were very good, by the way.
Thank you. Why do you keep sounding surprised?
I'm not surprised. You're really very good.
Did you see Bulbul?
Bulbul, according to me, is my favorite performance of you ever. Do you remember I saw it during COVID when it released? Correct. And I messaged you.
Yes, you did.
Then you sent me the sweetest message back, and you know what it said? Yeah. Call na. And I laughed, and I'm like, this is it eventually. Yeah. That's what we all are.
You were in concert or something.
Yeah. Phone kar do. So I called you and I gushed and gushed. Because I messaged Anvita, but I think it went to some other number. I just loved the movie.
Have you met Anvita since?
I met her once after that, and I told her, in fact.
But you must, because she's a very authentic person.
No, I love her. She's gorgeous. Physically, her mind.
Very authentic.
And she made such a beautiful, lyrical, wonderful movie. It was like poetry. Yeah. And you were so good. I think that's the first time I saw you. Otherwise, there's always a bit of us that comes in every part.
Yeah.
So, you were not Rahul Bose at all.
Especially with the mentally challenged twin brother.
And that could have gone horribly wrong. It could have become a caricature.
Anvita also handled it very well on the edit table. You can ruin a performance on the edit table. So you brought this up.
Yeah.
Your hands should always do more than your mouth in life. I mean, I was just thinking that it's a very loaded statement, but you were making the larger point, which is, Rahul, to step back. You were saying that the power is to sometimes step back.
Yeah.
You have to do more than you speak in life. You have to. And that's when sukoon jo hai na, tab milta hai. Ki I will shut up and just do stuff. And then if the fragrance of that has to go out, I'm not going to be spraying the bottle in your face.
Yeah.
It's the fragrance will reach. It'll reach the places it has to reach. There's a peace of mind in that, Pooja. There's nothing else I can say. There's a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, but it's amazing how you just found your groove. And when are you directing again?
I've written something. And the greatest compliment I got was from people who said, you could not have written this. I said, why? They said, it's so much fun. It's crazy humor wrapped in a very feminist tale.
Okay.
But it's crazy humor. It's like Bulbul, except it's very funny. It's a feminist tale, but it's so funny.
But you're a feminist.
Of course I am.
It's got to do with your mother and your sister. I mean, growing up.
I mean, I don't know in what era it's become uncool to say it. Of course I'm a feminist.
Yeah, you've always been.
I've always been. Look, I had a mother who never entered the kitchen.
Yeah.
She smoked, she drank, she worked, she was a success at what she did, and she never cooked. And I had a father who cooked.
Yeah.
Who fed us with his hands. Yeah, you've eaten his food.
I've eaten his food.
His idea of affection was to roll with us on the bed after he came back from work for hours, just horsing around with Didi and me. And my mother was like, "Uff, badan mein na chipko." She would go, "Phitte muh toada." She was Punjabi. She just wanted a bit of distance. When you grow up like that, when I used to go to my friends' houses and their fathers were reading the newspaper and their mothers were in the kitchen, I would ask them, I said, "Is your father ill?" They're like, "What do you mean, boss?" I said, "No, because he's outside. Your mother's cooking." They're like, "Yeah." I truly didn't know. I had no clue. I didn't know that mothers cooked.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So feminist meaning there was no option. I'm not joking, Pooja. When I had to decide what to wear for a wedding, I would go to my father. He was a man of exquisite taste.
Yeah.
And when I had to decide what to do in my career, I would go to my mother. It's true. It's the truth. I've lived it. Sometimes I just say, look, if you're a humanist, you will be a feminist because you'll be wanting an inclusive world for everyone. I keep saying women don't want to be protected. They just want to be given the same opportunities and the same infrastructure as you give men socially. That's all they want. They don't want anything special.
Yeah.
But just give them what the men have. Culturally, socially, financially, give it to them. Property.
So you told your mother when you were a little boy that I'm never going to get married.
Yeah.
And what brought that on?
I wasn't a little boy. I mean,
you weren't a little boy.
In size, I was little. But I was 18 years old.
You were 18 by that time. You came to that decision.
Yeah. I won't say this was a waste of time, but I couldn't understand the
concept.
Yeah. I couldn't understand why.
Now, though. Yeah.
And it wasn't that, no, I don't like girls, I'm not going to get married. No, I love girls. It was, I had a wonderful impression of an attraction towards women. I was just like, Mom, marriage, I'm just like, she said, fine, don't. And if you change your mind, do. I said, yeah, cool, I'll think about it. And, my best friends, the two Cyruses, Nasir and Vinay, they're fantastic marriages. So it wasn't that as I grew older, I began to, see broken marriages and none of that.
Yeah.
I actually saw and continue to see the most idyllic marriages that three of my friends have now. So, I don't know. I really don't know. And it still has zero fascination for me.
Yeah.
Children, through the foundation, with the Andaman's kids and the Manipur kids and the Kashmir kids, was that giving expression to my sense of, a paternal kind of sense? I'm not sure. Maybe not. But it wasn't conscious decision.
Yeah.
I must tell you, one of the Andaman's kids, she's 30, got married a year ago, and she asked me to give her away.
That's lovely.
At her wedding. She has a relationship with her father, but she said, you're also like my father.
That's
so
lovely.
I was in Jaipur and I gave her away.
Lovely.
I walked her down the aisle. Ultimately, what are we seeking through marriage? You can laugh together.
Yeah.
That's a great marriage.
Yeah.
You can be honest with each other. It's a partnership. It's the quality of the partnership that matters, not the longevity. I mean, you and I have been friends for easily 30 years.
Yeah, I think so. We met the first time in Copacabana, and you had just come back from the Atari border, and you'd experienced New Year's Eve there.
It was the 50th year of independence.
Yes.
1997.
Right, so that's when we met.
So that's 28 years ago?
Sumit Chopra introduced me to you, and I was having a party the next day. We spoke a bit, and you were telling me about your experience at Atari. And I said, by the way, I'm having and before I could even complete my sentence, you just said, I don't go to parties. So I looked at you and I said, may I complete at least, I don't go to parties.
I can imagine myself
I don't go.
Insufferably, oh God, that is so... I would have slapped me.
So the next morning, Sumit Chopra calls me and he says, Rahul Bose has called me. He's harrowing me. Sumit's words. Wants to know what time the party is and where it is tonight. So not only did you come to the party, but you drove me home there in your little white car.
Yes.
So much for saying, I don't go to parties. Famous last words.
Oh man. It was at Malabar Hill. It's with an M. Malabar Apartments.
You're right.
Malabar Apartments on Malabar Hill. It's a beautiful old home.
That was when we first met. It's amazing how you can remember details of those nights, even though we used to be pretty inebriated. And it was fun. I mean, we used to get hammered. But we didn't have mobile phones with cameras, right?
No, we didn't.
So that's why you remember every detail.
Yeah.
Like I remember the color of your car. You were wearing this white t-shirt, blue jeans. And then you were reading to me also from some book of yours. You had this little diary with you.
I think it was Ben Okri. Ben Okri had written some poetry.
So did you have a Ben Okri book in your pocket, just by the by when you go to somebody's...
that must have been my book that I used to write in.
Yeah, so it was
I still have
a little diary of yours.
Yes.
I remember my room, I had this big
Man,
Jim
Pooja,
Morrison
what a
poster on the
memory
wall.
you have.
Yeah.
I still have that diary though.
I have poetry that you wrote me, by the way, in the middle of Ghetto.
Who wouldn't?
On tissue paper. Who wouldn't? Very kind. But I'm going to use
wouldn't?
that. So when you become kind of,
Listen, you can't keep saying become. I'm 58. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen?
That's the thing with men. 58 is young. 58 is young. But Bombay's changed.
Yeah.
The city has changed. It's become more fragmented, I think. I mean, earlier there was a kind of a center, or at least we had one. I mean, we
No
had
question.
No?
But, what do you do with cities that expand at the rate that we are expanding?
Yeah.
I mean, Mulund has a culture of its own. That's why when the malls happened, I mean, today you can find your own eating place, movie place, clubbing space within a kilometer of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Or 2 kilometers where you stay.
That's
Navi
true.
Mumbai or Mulund, or if you're in Bhayandar, wherever you might go. There are now individual silos. You don't have to travel all the way to South Bombay like you did in the past. Bandra was always Bandra. Jew was always Jew.
Yeah, but I mean, then there was a kind of a collective energy because people of a certain mindset
Yes.
gathered in those 2 or 3 places.
Yes.
There were always nightclubs in Juhu and everywhere else for that matter.
Yeah.
The focus really was just go out, meet some people, have a few laughs.
Correct.
Exchange some
Exchange ideas.
Listen to music.
Yes,
Tell
for sure.
Tommy that he can't play music in his own club, for example.
Right.
And get hammered and come back home and then wake up in the morning and recap the evening.
Yeah.
It was so clear. What kept us going was just the sheer need to connect.
There were no phones now.
That is true.
So, great cities have legacy neighborhoods. A legacy neighborhood, for example, in Bombay, Mumbai, is Bandra.
Yeah.
Matunga has its own community, a legacy community. Khar, I mean, there's Sardars in Khar, legacy.
I mean, Chembur for that matter also.
Chembur.
Yeah.
Juhu is a legacy community. Kandivali. So you'll have different people from different parts of the country. So when you have legacy communities, you get a sense of belonging and a sense of place.
Yeah.
But for example, half the film industry is centered around Yari Road and Aram Nagar and these places. There's a lot of, I am here as a stopgap to get to another part of this city.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yeah.
And finally, you want to end up in a legacy community.
That's true.
So there are many immigrant spaces in a city that don't foster a sense of belonging. They're transient spaces where nobody ever lives for long.
Yeah.
And I think in a city, if you're discussing a city, you have to say, okay, let's not be unfair to the city and only talk about its transient spaces, or let's not be too charitable and only talk about its legacy spaces. We have to look at it as a whole and how the whole thing works together. And with the coastal road, all of that stuff, you will definitely see the connectivity of this city changing its social dynamics. Earlier, you and I live in Bandra. There's no chance of going into town on a Saturday night.
Now it's easier to go to town than to Juhu.
Correct. Now you see what's happening. So those reconnections, who knows, it might foster something new now, which is as good as the old. I don't know.
Yeah.
With mobile phones, one doesn't know.
No, true.
But innocence, the loss of innocence
is palpable.
And I think every single generation has felt it about the next generation.
Perhaps. I've thought about this often, that am I just being like every other generation before me and, saying that, our music was the best and our times were the best. I genuinely feel that there is a shift post-2000 at least. Something has changed.
Yeah, and I think it's the mobile phone.
2000, 2001.
It's the
after
digital
that,
generation.
Yeah.
The attention spans. Like, what is ghosting?
I had to be educated on that concept.
You wouldn't dare ghost anybody. If somebody called you, at the very minimum, you'd say, listen, I'm not interested in meeting you.
Yeah.
And so I asked this 26-year-old friend of mine, you have a friend you just talked about. You and she were talking 24/7. You hung out, and now she's disappeared from your life. I don't hear you talking about her. What happened? He said, I called her one day and she didn't reply. I called her once more, she didn't reply. I knew she'd ghosted me. That was it. I said, but she just cut it off like that? He said, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, but was it savage? Did you feel bad? He said, no. I said, this is normalized behavior. He said, yeah. If somebody just doesn't want to talk to you anymore, they stop talking to you. There's no closure. They don't give you any explanation. That's the new social currency.
So when you talk about transience, for example, everything seems transient,
Yeah.
I mean, equations seem so transient. They seem so transactional. At every point. It needs to be transformational. If not, why leave home? One went out seeking other people because you came home richer with that exchange.
No question about it.
There was a takeaway every night. Even if it was a bad night, there was a takeaway.
Yeah.
it would be fair to say that we were unafraid to bleed openly. So maybe that is just the equation I had with you.
Yeah.
You heard me speak so often about how dissatisfied I was in terms of the commercial film industry, for example, as being as a place where I could actually express myself, you know. I felt stifled so many ways. So
but you would be too big for most spaces, Pooja. Your mind and your appetite and what you want from the world, I can't think of too many places that would be big enough to contain you.
I think one of the reasons that I was so comfortable with you is because we enjoyed so many deep, nurturing, healing silences together.
We just loved each other.
I mean, even in the middle of a party, we could find that center and we could just stand there together, not say anything to each other,
laugh.
and look out at everything. And then you would go off and I would go off and whatever, but there was a center. You always gave me that feeling of a center. I don't know.
That's beautiful. And we were just connected.
Yeah, we were.
I have never felt disconnected from you.
Which is why when I called you and I said, hey, listen, I really want you on my podcast, you were like, can we record tomorrow? So I was impressed because otherwise you can be very difficult. Difficult in the sense, in the good way.
Yes, I can.
In fact, I learned that from you. You could also say no very easily. Yes. It took me a long time, many years to learn to say no.
One of my quotes is, a career is not defined by what you say yes to.
It's what you say no to. Even in a social situation, you say no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can. And I will. I'm not going to be caught up with momentum. Momentum is a very dangerous thing.
Yeah. Now, you've been working how many years?
33.
Wow. And when we did Bombay Begums together 2019, it was seeming very promising with regards to the whole OTT boom. But where do you think we are now?
Back to square one. Censorship, fear. What has happened at OTT is extremely predictable. What is the function of cinema? It's a business.
Right.
It's not art. It's first a business. So when an OTT platform is opened, how do they make their money? Subscription. So in the first flush, there's no censorship. We can say what we want to. We don't have to spend money on marketing, etc., etc., etc. And any OTT channel will say, okay, let's get the best people in. And let's give them what they want initially. And then gradually, when we want the subscriptions, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
If we want to drive numbers, we're going to have to go to, if not the lowest common denominator, the medium common denominator.
Right.
Right? So out go the high concept stuff. Earlier, if there's censorship in cinema, why should there not be censorship on OTT? So all those things are back. So now you have censorship. Now you have catering to the medium common denominator, if not the lowest common denominator. And therefore, all the various rose-tinted glasses everybody had about the OTT space have gone. So now you're asking yourself, okay, if that's the same as the bada parda,
then might as well go there.
And how do I reduce the cost of the bada parda? So there's this buy one get one free, right? BOGO, which is cinema tickets. In the old days, morning show tickets were cheaper than the afternoon show tickets.
Yes.
So all of that's happening. Surge pricing is happening. A lot of cinema hall owners have understood that if they don't do something, the product is not going to come. I am predicting 100% that if earlier 100 films would release on screen and there was no OTT, at OTT's height, it became 20 on screen, 80 on OTT. I'm solidly predicting it's going to be at the very minimum 50-50. It has to be. Because if people are going to be fighting for the things that they fought for always in cinema, then they would like to see it on the bada parda.
Also, OTT is now insisting that it have a run in a cinema hall for a certain amount of time and then they let you into that exalted space. So isn't it defeating the purpose completely? I mean, for me, what OTT represented was, of course, to be able to tell unique, brave stories. Where are we and where are we going?
So I'll tell you what's going to happen. Within these big platforms, think of the big studios in America. Fox, Paramount. And remember when they came up with their boutique arms?
Yeah.
Fox had Fox Studios.
Right.
Sony had Sony Classics. The Weinstein Company emerged. All these biggies that you see today in the OTT space, there'll be only 3 biggies left. I guarantee you. There might be a 4th biggie that'll come in. There'll be 4 big OTT platforms. They will then have a boutique arm, where they will create what's called vanity products.
I also get nervous when there's one media house that buys out everything. You know what I mean?
Fair. But so, come what may, you need those 1 or 2 products that create the impression in the market of you being high quality. So they will need those boutique products, and those boutique products they will use to create a brand equity around their entire platform. This is the story of the world. If I want to sell 100,000 plastic watches, for kids, I need to make that one watch that gives me the name. Oh, you're using that brand. Wow.
Right.
That's what happens. That's a simple product savvy.
While they say this year is the worst year for movies or for entertainment, I've been hearing that for the last 36 years. Haven't you as well? I mean, every year we're told, especially when it comes to our paychecks, that, it's the worst year. In other words, you're very lucky that you're part of a film.
Yeah.
And we would be very happy also to be part of the movie and bring costumes also from home and do God knows what.
2008, when the crash happened, I remember producer came to you and said, we're paying you 1/3 your fee. I'm like, fine, go ahead. I mean, what am I going to say?
But are you still carrying your chair to set?
Yeah. Same. I just finished a film with Guneet, and I finished another film with Prakash Jha. And chair. And everybody hears the story all over again.
It's a great story. People don't understand that generally actors get treated very badly, on their way up. Which is why most of them, see, you're one of those rare individuals who say, okay, listen, I'm not going to go through this humiliation and pain. I'm going to carry my own chair. And you go and splurge on a chair and pay 20 times more than you would have normally.
Pooja, I never ever needed the industry.
Yeah.
It didn't define my character, my temperament, or my soul.
I understand that.
It never did, right?
Yeah.
You were born into it.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But it still didn't define me.
Fair.
Yeah.
And that's true. And it didn't define me either. So for me, I always looked at the industry as an extension of the rest of my entire life. It had to mirror those priorities.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to just, I'm in a film now, I mustn't talk about the fact that that director just kicked this actor. Do you know what I mean? And no, it can't be. Which
director has kicked an actor? Please, we'll talk about that later. Are you kidding me?
And it happened
in front of you?
2 months ago. Yeah.
It happened in front of you?
It was the last day of shoot, so I didn't walk off.
Oh my Lord.
In fact, we had one shot left.
Was there a fracas after that?
Toxicity gets normalized over a long term, and as you increase the toxicity, you don't feel it because every day is toxic. And you know me. I mean, it takes a lot, but once you stoke my fires, then there's going to be carnage.
My father, for example, always created an air where actors felt so loved on set, which is why they thrived.
Even with Purna, the second film I directed, one of the actors got nervous on set because they're working with me. So I just went to the actor and I said, look, I have cast you. You are immaculate. You are here because of everything you've done. You can't screw up at all. Even if you do it in your sleep, you'll be amazing. Now, if you're anything less than amazing, it's on me, it's not on you.
That is something you are able to say because you have been an actor before.
Exactly.
And you walked in those shoes.
It just changed. Till today, you ask him. We shot in 2015. It's been 10 years. He remembers it like it was yesterday.
Wow.
He says, you took me, you put a hand on my shoulders and you took me for a walk and you told me this. And I was like, you mean I can do anything? I said, you can do what you want. You're going to be amazing.
So that comes because you're an actor first.
Yeah.
And a filmmaker after that.
It came straight from there. Yeah. All an actor wants is to be told, we are such simple people. We just want approval.
Yeah, because someone tells us we're doing okay.
Yeah. Pooja, we don't leave the set till somebody says shot is okay. We are the most obedient, loving, wanting affection dogs. Like your family dog, who will sit there till such time as you say, okay, we're moving.
Yeah.
That actor will stand there till the seasons can change. But you didn't say that the shot was okay, so I stood here waiting for you.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But there's also a whole breed of people who, I don't know, I guess everyone has their own priority and their own thing that drives them.
You see all that life, Pooja. I don't see all that.
What do you mean I don't see? Because first of all, you do a lot more work than I do. I do one project
You're
a year.
Film industry insider. Pooja, look at your family.
My father has been the quintessential outsider.
Yeah,
in
but
that
you
sense.
had these conversations are on your dinner table from the time you were born. film conversations, conversations about direction, conversations about the industry, conversations about producing, conversations about banners.
I think maybe me and my father tend to, where it's always an overview in terms of where we are and looking at things in terms of from a macro perspective.
Yeah, I've heard your dad and you talking, and those are conversations that I would give my right arm to be part of. No? Yeah. And those macro conversations, they're not personal conversations. These are film conversations. These are people steeped in cinema.
Yeah,
in
and
industry.
Also the human condition, so that I was talking about that just the other day. I said, I have found that I do not get depressed anymore. And I'm saying, why have I lost that sense of melancholy? I do still get very agitated when I see things going awfully wrong in the world. And you cannot fix it or do anything. So I convert that now into somehow bettering myself by picking up a book, reading something, immersing myself in somebody's work, talking to somebody where I just get a different perspective.
Anybody with a big, sensitive heart, with a heart that still listens, anybody with a heart that is still vulnerable is going to feel this on a day-to-day basis.
But what I find when I'm looking at you and listening to you talk, earlier I've seen, first of all, your sincerity was something that was palpable. Whatever you did and said yes to, you did with the utmost sincerity. And my heart used to say, oh my God, he just gives everything in that sense. You might not have expressed it in terms of words or even action, but I've seen the hurt sometimes. When you've seen and you've known, for example, that you might have been great for that job.
Right.
And you have been overlooked. Your frustration, not frustration might be the wrong word, but you're hurt.
Of course.
And sadness at them not being able to see you in a particular way.
Right.
But I feel that you've evolved from that now into that this is me, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
Come and get me if you need me. But there's no need to go out there and market, sell.
This first-time director I'm working with on this action comedy, he said, sir, I didn't direct you. I've written the script, sir. You've done things that are not in the script. I could never in my wildest dreams have taken this film here. And I thought to myself, Sujoy Ghosh on Jhankar Beats talking to me about, what I had done in that film. And that was 22 years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
If a first-time director, 23 years apart, can say the same thing. And now, Pooj, what I have is gratitude.
You said it.
You can look down. You can look up and say, I could have been there.
Right.
But just look down.
I think you said it, because if you ask me what is the one single emotion that colors or runs through your life, at this point, first and foremost, it's gratitude. For just waking up every day and saying, hey, I've got my faculties intact. Yeah. I'm healthy. Gratitude. My God. To be able to work, to be able to sit across the table from you and to be able to do this, for example. Yeah. Gratitude for this.
Yeah. When the Rugby Premier League finished after 15 days, I'd been working for 2 years, 15 hours a day. And there was a prize distribution ceremony. Those candles go up and fireworks and all that stuff. And it finished. Everybody was going to the after party and everybody left. And I walked back to the center of the pitch. And there were some karigars still working on dismantling the stage. And I took a 360-degree video, which I'll show you, which is nothing. The lights were off. The stadium lights says, doosh, doosh, doosh. The lights were off. There were some few lights on, working lights. I took a 360-degree of the ground. And I thought that I would cry. But I didn't. And nobody was with me. The feeling I felt on that warm, wet June 29th night, 2025, was of the greatest gratitude that nothing went wrong. That gratitude that I felt coursing through my body in the middle of that night sky, that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need in life.
Yeah, so much gratitude, Rahul, and for whatever it's worth, I'm glad our stars crossed, and you're sitting here 30 years later.
I think we'll be linked for the next 30. This is something that I've succumbed to this. I'm beaten, and I still remain endlessly fascinated by you. Look at that.
That is very kind. So now that we're here, we have a segment in the show where we turn the tables.
Okay.
So is there something you'd like to ask me?
My God, yeah. how much time do I have? Seriously, why don't you act more?
If I have to joke about it, I think people should ask nicely or then they should insist like you did. What drives me today is that I just want to be on a set, Rahul, with people who I feel I will really learn from, where it is a passion project more than anything else. I don't want to tick boxes, not in life with regards to my personal relationships or professionally, where I tell myself that, I work with so-and-so and so-and-so and so filmmaker. For me, I'm happy doing one scene in a film. I mean, everybody says I'm fine, for example, with a cameo. But what a role. So I would act if there was someone who sees me doing something that perhaps I never thought I could do.
Sure.
Because I'm in that phase of my life right now where I'm so pliable.
Okay. What about cinema?
Cinema, I think we need a 360-degree turnaround.
You mean 180? 360 would be back to the same spot.
Maybe we need to come back to the same spot, but we need to do it differently. And what I mean
This is a classic you and me argument.
No.
You've said something totally wrong.
No.
And I've said no, it's 180 degree, and you're defending it by saying 360 degrees. And I have to know.
No, I'll tell you what I mean. Wherever I go, for example, people talk to me about...
You're right, I'm wrong. Happy?
No. I might be wrong, but understand why I said 360. I mean that you need to travel the world and come back home, right? Why do you need to come back home? Because if you go back to the 90s, the era that I did my movies in, some good, some bad, but there was a honesty and a simplicity to those stories, right?
Yeah.
So I think what's missing in these convoluted times is everything is too complicated, Rahul.
Yeah.
We need to come back to basic storytelling, great melodies in music.
I love Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahi.
So I would say 360. Back to the 90s, refined 90s, the sense of irreverence, the hope that we had, where the heroes aspired to attain those qualities if they didn't have them. So 360 degrees, my friend. Not 180. Do I win this round? Now we should end this.
Always.
So you can tell me the name of the filmmaker who kicked that person. And we don't end up getting sued, so it won't be on tape.
Thank you,
Thank
Pooja
you, Rahul Bose. And I just want to say before I go, I don't know whether I've said it enough, but I love you deeply, madly,
love you too,
truly, like the Savage Garden song.
Yeah.
Truly, madly, deeply. But thank you for doing this, and it was a joy.
It was, is, and always will be a pleasure.
Okay. See you. Thank you.
Thanks.
The Pooja Bhatt Show is produced by Mammoth Media Asia and Epilogue Entertainment and distributed by iHeart Podcasts. The executive producer is Jonathan Strickland.